Hi, I'm William Malik, and I'm here with today's bit of security for March 20th, 2024. I recently read a press release by a vendor who claimed that they could reduce your cost of computing by 250% by migrating to cloud environment. And my first reaction was deep skepticism. I mean, how could that possibly be true, given that you still have to do all the stuff you're doing today with the fundamental applications you're using today, to which you would have to add the cost of migration, the additional layer of networking, the cost of trying to learn to do remote systems management through a third party. I mean, you can't instrument some, cloud vendors' virtual machines. You have to put some tool in there will conform with their expectations and rely on their pattern of alerting and so on. And it seemed to me that an A/B comparison between a data center and a data center running cloud, the cloud would always be more expensive. But then I realized that my baseline for comparison was flawed. When I started in the industry, I worked for the John Hancock Insurance Company in Boston, which had the largest and most efficient data center, mainframe data center in North America at the time. Highly tuned, very skilled technical people, close cooperation with IBM and other vendors to make sure that we're getting every possible bit of efficiency out of that very expensive environment. When I left there for the IBM Corporation after 5 years, um, I ended up in an environment that was a manufacturing facility, and IBM put all of its money into product for customers, which meant that the data centers that we ran were running on one generation old technology, which means they had to put an enormous amount of effort into making sure those machines were continuously available, high quality, very rapid correction of any defects. In other words, again, an extremely efficient, well-managed data center. And that was the flaw. Most organizations don't run highly efficient, well-managed data centers. And in fact, moving to cloud simplifies so much that even though the hypothetical A/B comparison that I had in mind would suggest cloud would be more expensive, the reality is that the average data center isn't all that well run. Later during my Gartner career, when we acquired Real Decisions, I learned that the difference between the top 10% and the bottom 10% in terms of a normalized unit of work was an 11-fold spread in the cost of computing. That is, for $100, the most efficient data centers could deliver a capability which in the worst data centers would cost $1,100. So if you're in the middle, if you're running somewhere around $600 for a unit of work, going to cloud can save you a lot of money because the cloud providers are doing the best they can, like the manufacturers, to optimize the efficiency of the platforms they produce. So, yes, I stand corrected. The reality is that an average data center migrating to cloud will save a considerable amount of money by making that step. However, you have to ask yourself, could you do better? In the 1990s, Chase Bank turned over its operation to IBM as an outsourcing deal. And after a couple of years, IBM gave it back because Chase had run an organization that was so efficient that IBM could not construct any substantial improvements. In other words, they could not turn the data center into a profitable cash cow because Chase had already done such a good job of making that particular data center extremely efficient. Well, IBM said, well, we can't make a profit. We're going to pay the exit clause. We're going to give it back to you. We can't do it. Know who you are. As my former Gartner colleague would say, know yourself. Start there and then decide, will the cost be better going to cloud? You might surprise yourself. It might be. And that's our bit of security for March 20th. And I'm William Malik.